100%. My mindset then was win at all costs, like win, like whatever it takes. Like you suck it up, you take the emotions, you put them in a compartment, you get the job done. Do the work, do the work, do the work, do the work.
Today, I'm interviewing Heather Daniels, and we're going to be talking about the mindset on athletes. And so I want to get into your mindset. I want to get from what you do in the morning, how you get moving, and then also I want to know like what was the pivoting point in your life that you started getting into fitness, and sort of that how you ended up getting into where you are producing all this great content, this great information for your clients, that you have to have something in your life that made you want to go down this avenue.
Yes. Okay. So, well, you asked a lot of questions all at once, so I'm going to have to go back, and I will start from the very beginning. So the very beginning was I was a teenager. I was a chunky teenager. I come from a family of a lot of the women are overweight. You know, we love food. Actually, I don't love food, but there was a lot of food, a lot of you know, food is love, that type of a thing. My grandma would have like 5-course everything. So everybody was, you know, not into fitness and a lot into food. So initially, I just wanted to lose weight. I just wanted to figure out how do I lose weight. So I started out by going to the gym. I started off with doing a lot of aerobics classes. So I wasn't necessarily intimidated by the gym like a lot of people are. I just didn't know what to do. So the only thing, the next best thing was to go do aerobics. So I started doing aerobics, and I was like losing weight, so my body was shrinking, and then I would go like, this was my mindset then. I'm gonna tell you about my mindset then and my mindset now, and then the pivoting moment and how it shifted. So my mindset was just go, you know, just do the aerobics, because that's the thing to do. One of my best friends was my aerobics instructor, and we have a similar body types, and so we would go in, she would teach the classes, and I would do like 2 hours a day, and then go back. I would have hardly any fat, very little protein, because this was back like OJ trial, right? Okay, so I was in school for nutrition too, so it was like I was following what they were saying, which was very low protein, it was all carbs, right?
Okay.
And so we would get on the scale, and then we would just that was our thing, like how do we lose weight? So on Monday, after a weekend of like chimichangas and food and alcohol and all that stuff, the weight would all come back on Monday. So I was fighting, and I look back at that, it's like a lot of people do excessive cardio because they're beating themselves up. Like it's like you can't out-train a bad diet, but you feel bad about yourself. In fact, on my way here, I saw a man in the elevator in my building, and he was going down to the gym, and I said something about, hey, you gonna go hit it hard tonight? And he said, yeah, I had a bad meal, so I gotta go burn it off. So that was my mindset. And so the pivoting moment, it's kind of interesting. It was just before Memorial Day weekend. My friend, her name is Emily, got sick, so she wasn't in the gym. So she got sick. She had some issues with her sister, like her sister in Utah or something like that. I went to Rocky Point. I got sick, and I didn't go to the gym for a period of 6 weeks. So this 6-week period that I didn't go to the gym, she was training in the gym. I got back to the gym, I saw her, and I was like, oh my gosh. So literally in 6 weeks, her body completely changed. I said, Emily, what did you do? And she's like, don't pay the trainers, just weight train and eat chicken and rice. And I was like, you got it. So I did one session with her, and it was like one of those sessions where you can't brush your hair. I got really, really sore. And then she got sick, or she moved to Utah. And then I was like, I need somebody. And then I went and hired a trainer, and changed my whole life. Okay. So that was when I got pulled out of cardio, and then I got thrown to the weight training room. And then I just took to it like a fish takes to water.
It seems like what ends up happening is sometimes some women have this mindset of working out with weights, that you're going to look masculine, and you're going to have that masculine traits.
Yeah.
And then also some men have the intimidation factor too, that they don't want their wives or girlfriends to be bigger than they are, or lift more than they are. Yeah. You know, I think that's an insecurity on men.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. I mean, at that point, I got divorced, we're on an interview and it's not a secret. So during that time, that's exactly what happened to me. I mean, my husband at the time was like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna go to the gym again? You know, that kind of a thing. And I was like, you're gonna go play video games with your friends? So I was going to the gym, he was playing video games with his friends, and he was very insecure. I don't know that it was necessarily that I was gonna be big and bulky, but he was insecure that I was working out and getting in shape.
Right.
And then women, it's just not being educated, thinking that, you know, that they're gonna get bulky. But you won't get bulky, you'll shrink. Tighten up.
Yeah.
So the pivoting moment was, it was that I have to say, even the mindset, it was like, it really did take a couple of years. It took a couple of years of a cycle of going up and down. I did some binging and purging. I wouldn't consider myself someone that had an eating disorder, like a clinical eating disorder, but I found myself restricting myself really hardcore during the week, and then all I could think about was, what am I gonna do on the weekend? And that wasn't normal for me at all. And that lasted until after, I don't know, it was a couple of years, and I thought about it. You know, I wanted to keep working out, I wanted to keep progressing, I wanted to keep getting in shape, and then I started competing.
Okay.
So the mindset there was, it was new for me. I didn't know. I mean, I'm not a competitor. I wasn't a competitive athlete in high school. I wasn't a competitive athlete in college. So, you know, so competition for me was very interesting.
And so when you say interesting, so can you explain the interesting aspects of the competition?
Yes. Okay. So, so when I decided to compete, we had what was called Figure. You know Figure. So they just released Figure. At the time, there was only bodybuilding. I'm talking about the NPC Federation, IFBB. Okay. There was only fitness and bodybuilding, and so they had this new division called Figure. Figure was supposed to be like just a little bit of muscle, kind of a bikini body. Basically what a bikini competitor looks like today. That's what Figure was then. My mindset going in, the very first show was, you know, I'm not in bad shape. I'll just go buy a suit, put some paint on, and I did pay attention like the last 3 weeks before I competed.
Okay.
I got 4th place, so I was kind of like, oh, that wasn't too bad. That was kind of easy. Let's go crush it next time. So that was a March show, and then the next show was in July. So, and I owned a gym at the time. I had a lot of clients. I had a lot of people that were supporting me and that, you know, were all about me. You know, I had a lot of support. So the next one was July, which is the Arizona Open, which is like was our big show at the time. And that time, I really paid attention to everything that was going in my body. All my training, everything was like 100%. My mindset then was win at all costs, like win, like whatever it takes. Like you suck it up, you take the emotions, you put them in a compartment, you get the job done. Do the work, do the work, do the work, do the work. So when I competed that second time, I did not place in the top 5. So I actually got 6th place. So I didn't get a trophy, didn't get called out first. And I hope that anybody who listens to this that's a competitor or is thinking about competing really listens to this story, because there's so many things that I wish I could go back and just tell myself, like, just doesn't have to be that hardcore, Heather. My initial feeling right off stage was like, oh my gosh, I have to gain 10 pounds of muscle. I was pissed. I was a very, very sore loser, and everybody knew it. Like my attitude, it was hard, you know. So, but there's another side to it too. So if you're really a competitor, you're not gonna let that shit hold you back, right? So then the next thing was like, okay, I got to gain 10 pounds of muscle. What do I got to do? And at that point, if there's any women listening about carbs, you know, the mindset for me was, I had reduced my carbs, you know, maybe like 100 grams a day for several years. So probably, let's see, about 4 or 5 years, I was having about 100 grams a day, and that's not enough for a competitor. I mean, that you think like I got to get lean, so I'm gonna reduce my carbs.
Right.
I had to change my mindset and trust the process, that the carbs that I was eating was actually fueling my muscles, fueling my body, so that I could get tighter and smaller and actually recover. So, and it was awesome, and my body responded really well. So eat your carbs. And then, so that was my next competition, and that competition, I haven't talked about this in so long. That competition, this is for any sore losers or anybody who thinks that like that one competition is the all thing. It's not. It really is about the journey, and it really is about improving. But this time I went to I had another competition. It was in San Francisco. I was ready. I felt ready, but I had a lot of those insecurities. I really did. It was like, you know, when you're insecure and you just like make yourself really strong on the outside. That's what it is. But we talked about our inner child a little bit earlier. The inner child's really wounded, right? Well, that was a big cover up for me. But when you don't place in the top 5, you don't receive a trophy, it's pretty obvious what happened to you. You know, you didn't win. So that particular competition, I didn't even come back in the evening. And I had friends there that was with me, you know. So looking back, I wish I could have done that a little bit different too. However, the next competition, this is a good one. This is my favorite show. I've done 9 shows. This was my favorite show. I didn't win it, and I'll tell you why it was my favorite show. I went into that show knowing that I was 100% there. Like I did all the work. I did, you know, all the food, all the cardio, all the weight training, but I went in with 0 attachment to the outcome.
Right.
Literally, I was like, smile. You put that smile on. I was bloated. I woke up that morning, I was, okay, don't look in the mirror anymore. Just stop looking in the mirror and just keep practicing your posing, practicing the smiling. And I got 3rd place. And out of all, I've won several shows, but out of all of them, that was my favorite because I had 0 attachment to the outcome. I wasn't super hardcore. I didn't put all that pressure.
Right.
And then I had fun.
And that's the biggest thing that I've noticed, that when you have fun with things, then you appreciate it. Because I know as myself, as an athlete, what I would do is, I was a track athlete.
Okay.
And I ran in high school, I ran in college. So in high school, what I would do is I would take the athletes, the opposing team, find out who I'm running against, and I would go ahead and put black underneath my eyes and I'd write their name down.
That's so awesome.
And then what I would go ahead and do is, when I would run, because I was a specialist in the 200. So anytime that I would be in the inside of the curve, making up the stagger, I'd be coming up next to the guy and I'd say, watch this, or eat dust.
Yeah.
Or
say something to him?
Yeah, I would say something to him.
Yeah.
Because I was that type of individual. And because of that competition mindset that I had, that I want to be better than somebody else.
Yeah.
But now I notice that what I'm doing now is I'm not competing against anybody right now. When I'm doing my Olympic weightlifting, I'm competing against my old self. Because what ends up happening is I'm taking away from the competition side of I'm enjoying the competition, I'm enjoying the journey, I'm enjoying the process of the weightlifting, my training, get to the competition. I am saying, what can I do that I didn't do last week or whatever, because all we have is that moment.
Yeah.
I can't compare myself to what are my numbers from last year? Can I go ahead and beat those numbers? What was the last competition? Can I go ahead and beat those numbers? I don't look at it that way. I look at it saying, at this right time, at this moment, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
How do I feel?
Yeah.
And not looking at it, the other individual is that I'm competing against them. We're in competition with each other. We're pushing each other to be better.
That's awesome. Did that come with wisdom?
That came with wisdom,
Yeah.
because you probably have the highs when you had that competition where you busted your ass, and then all of a sudden it's like you didn't place, and then you felt like, what the F? And you felt bad about yourself, and you got this emotional downward cycle.
Down. Yeah. There's some deep darkness to competition. But yeah, I mean, one time that I won the Arizona Open, the show that show that I didn't place in, the next year I did win. But that night I didn't celebrate. I was just like, it was so strange, but I had it was a negative
Right.
mindset. It's actually very detrimental to a competitor because you'll take yourself out. So I'm not like that anymore. Just like you, I'm not competing against anyone else. It's like, I got this, I just keep going. I know I push myself. Now I work with other people too. So I work with other people and their mindsets, and I ask them a lot of questions. Instead of me really giving them my philosophy all the time, I ask them questions and then I help them.
Okay, you help them formulate.
I help them formulate.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
what exactly they want to get out of this.
Exactly. Instead of telling them how I think their body should be and
Right.
that kind of thing.
And
it's way more effective with clients.
And then do they feel like, because I notice that when some people in the bodybuilding side and the figure, they tend to want to, I need to have this body a certain way, and then they're not really happy and satisfied because they're comparing themselves to others. So how do you deal with that with your clients?
Well, that's a tough one because so I had an interview with a woman who just decided that she wants to compete. We don't know when she's going to compete, but she just decided that she wanted to. And one of the things that I asked her was, how do you feel about social media? Because when I was competing, it was the last show that I did in figure was 2005. And then in 2014, I came back and did 2 bikini shows. And then I was like, I'm done with that. What was I going to say about that? The 2005.
It was on the social media.
The social media. Yeah, I didn't have social media, so we didn't see anybody. It was like you said, you go look at your competitors and put their names right there. That's how I would be too, but I wouldn't say anything until I got backstage. That kind of a thing. We didn't have social media to look at. There wasn't filters. There wasn't angles. We just showed up on the competition day. One day, wasn't 2 days, and we competed. And it was also like a smaller kind of not underground, but a smaller, respected group of people. It wasn't as wide as it is right now. But I asked the questions: how do you feel about social media? And then I really go through the mindset of a competitor, what it takes. And then sometimes we've actually taken people off social media. But if you are at the point where you can't handle social media and you want to do a physique competition, I would not support that, because I think that your mental wellness is so much more important than the outside,
Right. Right.
Yeah. So I wouldn't support it. But I would say, I would just remind people, you're competing against yourself, and there are angles and filters, so gotta be real. And I'm real with people too.
Right.
Like my clients, I show them parts of my body that I don't think are perfect, but I love all of my body. Now, me to say that, it sounds like, I love all my body, and I think that all women should love all of their body. It's like all of it, all the imperfections, all of it. That's mindset too.
Right. There's this one man. There was a story that I heard that this lady went to go get some photos. And so I think it was like a boudoir photos.
Oh yeah.
And so the husband ended up getting the photos, and the lady, the photographer, ended up taking away all the stretch marks.
Oh.
So then the husband went to the photographer and said, you did a very beautiful work. However, you took away the beauty that was there for my wife.
Yeah.
And she said, well, what do you mean by that? And she said, because the stretch marks represent the children that she gave us.
That's awesome.
And so, can you please put back? Do you have the original?
Put it back on there. That's awesome. I love that.
So it's all about how people look at things.
Yeah.
And it's all about the perception.
Yeah. And it's very difficult to. We were talking a little bit earlier about the type of clients I like to work with, and if there's not an awareness that if there's not even an awareness that they are so consumed with the outside, because that doesn't. If someone is so consumed with the outer appearance, they're missing so many other things that help them build a strong foundation, and then really make it last. Because who wants to get in great shape and then not know how to keep it going?
Right.
Who wants to have a Ferrari and not know how to drive it, right? Or keep it up, and keep it maintained. It's the internal stuff.
Right.
It's mental wellness. It's here. It's relationships with people. I talk to my clients about the relationships they have with their significant other, whether it's a man or a woman. That has a big impact on their self-esteem, their confidence.
Right. And most people don't realize that sometimes when people are doing a certain sport, it's because they're avoiding some kind of an addiction, so they're masking it with something else.
That is a lot. That's a lot of my story too. Years, a couple years.
Right.
It was controlling. The competing was controlling. It was very controlling. Yeah, alcohol.
And then some people they if they don't get the grasp of it and understand it, all they're doing is they're switching one vice for another vice.
Right.
And I've seen this a lot with some of the women competitors that are out there that I've seen by just having a conversation. I know that they're dealing with some difficulties in their life, and then what they're doing is they're trying to mask by saying, look at me. and it's all about the photos, because like we were talking earlier about, I don't want to see on Instagram. God, I sound like I'm an old guy right now. That I want to see the journey. I want to see the process. I don't want to see the end results.
Yeah.
I want to see,
or the photoshopped results.
Right.
Or the squeezed in. There's like apps you can squeeze it all in and everything. Did you know that? You know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. There's apps where you can make like the booty bigger, the waist smaller. I tell the girls that too. I'm like, hey, half of it's photoshopped with an app, so don't trust it. But I agree with you. Let's see the real. Mm-hmm. I like seeing the real. I like seeing the stretch marks, all that stuff. We're human beings.
Right.
Yeah.
And you see it also with when a person is getting the rapid weight loss or the weight gain. If they don't do it right, you definitely see the discoloration and the skin.
Yeah, it happens, and we talk about it. And then we it's okay, you know. And there's things that you can do if it bothers you that bad, you know. So.
Yeah. So on my other podcast, we interviewed a lady who actually lost 235 pounds.
Wow. And
then so she posted on social media. So she's like lost half a person.
Yeah.
So she posted herself with the sports bra on, and then she showed the extra skin on her stomach area, and so she loves it. She realizes
she didn't
that.
Want to cut it off.
Yeah. Well, she's eventually going to get rid of it, but she has a certain target weight that she's hitting, and then she's going to get it done. But when you look at the mindset, what happened with her is how when we were talking is like she realized that she needed to get over the addiction of food. And then also because of that, she's also worked on her mindset. She was reading a lot of books, going to seminars, educating herself. Because the thing is like, it goes back to what you're talking about the Ferrari.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to drive that Ferrari, then what's going to end up happening is it's just going to be a one-time show, and then that's it, and then you're done.
Yeah.
I've seen people where they will go ahead and get ready for the show, and then after the show, they just blow up. Yeah. Because they're just eating every single thing, and then
they restrict it for so long, and then it's a binge purge. That's a binge purge. People don't like to say it, but I'll call it what it is. It's like the restrictive diet is the binge, even though you're eating. You know what I mean? Right. I mean it's a starvation.
So how do you handle with your clients? How do you handle that? You monitor everything, and then it's a gradual process. It's not like saying like they're going to be doing a show in like 2 months.
Well, okay. So if it's a competitor, if the competitor has shaky mindset like that, I prepare them, but I don't work with competitors that have a mindset like that. I just don't. And honestly, I don't work with a lot of competitors anymore right now. I have one that actually we are like recording the whole entire journey. It's all going to be on YouTube. It's with a company called Smashbot. I don't know if you've noticed, but her name is Amanda. So since I was asking her what's your purpose, why do you want to do it, and then just knowing by the way that she talked, her tone, and how she talked back, I knew that she would be. She's got some stuff to work through, but I knew that she had the mindset to like pivot. Okay. You know, and so right now, one of the texts that I sent to her last night was, "Hey, look, I think we're 10 weeks out. So we're 10 weeks out. This is what we're doing. No drama, no gossip to anybody, because you start doing that gossipy thing, all of a sudden you catch yourself in a negative state. So if someone's gossiping to you, don't listen to it, like walk away. And it was a lot more to it, but it was basically like keep yourself in that positive mindset, keep yourself focused, look in the mirror, practice in the mirror over and over, smile like that.
I like it.
That's what we're doing, yeah.
Yeah, I like it because I know most people, they tend to get into the drama games.
Yeah.
And then what ends up gets you into a spiral where you're going to get down. And then if a person has these emotions, so you're basically what you're working on is when we were talking about earlier about you have this attachment to an outcome.
Yeah.
That what you're doing is you're giving the person saying you are good for who you are. You're already perfect and complete.
Yeah.
And then when they finally get that in their mind, all they're doing is just refining what's already been there.
Yeah, because they are wonderfully made. Everybody is. Yep.
And it deals with a lot of the insecurities that comes about with everyday life.
Yeah.
Somebody saying something to you, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too small, you're too
muscular.
whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And then you put that in your mind, and then you start living that story.
Yeah.
Whereas the real truth is that that's not really who you are. Everybody's an amazing individual,
Right.
but people tend to listen to these limited
Believe
beliefs.
what people say about them.
Yeah.
I agree.
So how do you work with individuals to help them get into that positive mindset with the limited beliefs?
So my method would be one day at a time. So right now I have, I'm working with actually 2 other women. They're not trainers, but they're in the personal development world. And we are doing something, we're using the Brendan Burchard High Performance Planner.
Okay.
Are you familiar with it?
Yeah.
So what I like about it is he sets it out. It's one day at a time. So in the morning you get up, you have your, your morning mindset, set your intentions, you have your 3 main priorities that you have to cover. Who's the one person you want to connect with, and how well are you going to connect with them? And he talks about the energy, like how much energy are you going to generate? What kind of energy do you want to generate today? Like with you today, what kind of energy do I want to generate with you? It's not a planner like, go do it's like a checklist to do kind of a thing, which I'm one of those kind of girls. But so this puts you in a space where you're thinking about your actions. And then, so here's the good thing about somebody who, back to your question, somebody who beats themselves up or says, I'm not good enough, or damn it, I was really good and then I ate that brownie. They have the evening time to go back and just evaluate. We're not judging ourselves, we're just evaluating how we did during the day. Oh, well, you know what, I slipped up here, so I have tomorrow. Tomorrow you set the new intention, and then it's just like it's not a one day at a time so people can screw up and then just like have tomorrow and start over. I'm not a start over kind of person, but it's just, you're a human being. You're gonna have a cupcake every once in a while. Just get over it.
Right.
Some people get so stuck on that, like the one cupcake throws them out, or they feel like they have to start all over again.
Yeah, I used to be like that.
You did?
I used to be where I couldn't, right into a competition, I'd be like, I can't have that piece of cake at a family event or something like that.
Yes.
And then I would have my older sister kind of like pushing it right in front of me, and then her husband would go ahead and say, stop it. He said no.
Yeah.
And then it was like, and she would still keep on putting it, so he would have to put her in check.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no. And I'm like, so that's something I realized with boundaries.
That is so good that you bring that up, because now there are times where you are on a strict diet, I mean, if you're competing, it's just, you're on a diet, you have to be strict. Family, I don't know why, but it seems to be a lot in the Midwest too. Like, it's more like Midwest. Like, oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine going somewhere and like bringing my own food. I'm like, really? Why not? Like, we do it all the time. Or, stopping by Protein House, grabbing your own food and bringing it. We do it. I coach women through that too, because that's, they're with their family. It's like family time, bonding time, and then mom's eating a different meal. So
Right.
What can you do? You can shift the meal and make a family meal, a healthy family meal for everybody. Or boundaries.
Yeah.
Boundaries are...
And if you're dealing with like Hispanic families, if they're truly...
They're the best.
They're gonna go ahead and...
make you the whole plate.
It's like, I already ate. No. It's like, you gotta eat.
You won't hurt their feelings.
Yeah,
if you don't
exactly.
eat. Yeah.
And that's the thing where it's like, any kind of family functions, if you're getting ready for a competition,
Yeah.
it's almost like, stay away.
Yeah. For sure.
And so, what do you do in the morning? I want to know, like, what is your routine?
So I do the Brendan Burchard. He says to spend about an hour. I don't spend about an hour. Honestly, I'm spending about 20 minutes, and then I go to the gym. I just walk right over to the YMCA. So YMCA is connected to ASU, and I train somebody, and then I do my own workout. And currently, right now, you caught me like in a good season. I just started training again. So I'm training for about an hour, 4 days a week. So that's the routine. So I do that. I come home, I eat my food, and then I do my calls, and then I just get going.
Okay.
So I am actually I'm more creative in the morning. So I wouldn't normally pick like the AM time for me to go work out. A lot of people say go get it done in the morning.
Right.
And for a long time I struggled with that. I was like, am I not a high achiever? Like how come these people can like sleep 6 hours and I can't do that? And then I would feel like I would miss out on work if I'd go work out. Because I work out and then I'm like, wow, I put it all in the gym. But I got over that.
So how do you balance your work-life balance?
How do I balance it? I don't balance it. I mean, I don't think that there's really a balance. I think things kind of come in seasons for me. You know, it's like right now I feel like it's a season. I'm definitely, well, last year I was injured. I had an injury on my knee. So I'm training, and I've got a lot of people that are training, you know, with me, alongside me. It comes in seasons. Like sometimes it's busier and heavier and harder, and then other times I feel like I want to go do yoga, but not a lot.
Okay. Because I know sometimes, like I've noticed within myself that I cannot do a lot of different events, and so friends of mine.
Competition.
Because I have a competition.
Okay.
So friends of mine would say, they don't quite understand my mindset, where I come from. I won't eat certain types of foods. I won't go out. I'm kind of a hermit. I get singly focused on what needs to be done.
Right.
And so like I did 3 competitions in a month.
You did?
And
that's one that you posted.
That was kind of crazy. Probably won't do that again.
Okay.
And
that's a lot.
And then so my knee is kind of swollen. It's kind of so I'm letting my knee kind of get back to normalcy, then get back to training, because I have another competition that's it's an international competition that I have to prepare for.
Okay. So what do you eat?
What I mean by that is
what are you eating?
Oh, what am I eating?
Yeah.
That's kind of hard, where I don't have like a certain diet. I've been living this lifestyle for the longest time in my life, where
it's just intuitive to you.
Yeah, it's intuitive. It's a thing of like, what do I feel like eating? It's just like my training. What do I feel like training? Well, I'm going to do this. Yeah. So I use a little bit of how I'm feeling and what I really want to eat. But when you kind of look at it like in the morning, it's something where I'll do oatmeal as an example. That's kind of like, I'll do oatmeal and I'll throw in the goji berries, and then I'll go ahead and put a little bit of cinnamon on there too, and then I'll throw in some protein powder, and then I'll put in the almond milk with pea protein in it already.
Yeah.
So then I feel like, okay, I'm getting some protein, plus I'm also getting some carbs.
Yeah.
And I'm also getting something that's a slower digesting carb, and rather than.
That's really good.
Well,
that's my favorite too.
And whereas like I won't do potatoes, because I notice that potatoes will spike me.
Okay.
So I'll do sweet potatoes instead. So I have certain things like, and then for the Christmas time, my family makes these things called bizcochitos.
Okay.
And it's almost like a shortbread cookie. It has anise in it.
Okay.
And it has cinnamon and sugar. Yeah. But that thing, I've noticed that if I have sugar, I get into this, I get anxious. And
interesting.
And I've noticed this a lot. Like I had a protein cookie. I'm not going to mention the name.
Okay. I think I know which one.
And I had it at, I went out with a group of people and we went dancing. I came back and I was driving back home, and I had that right in my passenger seat, and I was like, I want that. So I grabbed that. And normally a person shouldn't be eating late at night, but I kind of felt like I was dancing all night long, so I kind of felt like repair my muscles in my mind.
Yeah.
I ate that, and I got so anxious. I got anxious to where I was sweating. Kind of felt like right before you're going to be nauseous, and I was like, oh God, I hope I don't get food poisoned, or hope I didn't cause something in my stomach.
Yeah.
And so I was like, grabbed the bottle of water, and I said, screw this, and I went running in downtown Phoenix.
Oh my God.
And it was at 2:30 in the morning.
Wow.
I didn't have a shirt on, and I kind of like, because I was already sweating.
Yeah.
And it's hot out also.
Yeah.
And then I'm like seeing all these different things going on downtown, and I'm like, this isn't the safest thing to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you should probably go. Yeah.
So I ended up going into the apartment. We have a gym there, and we have a punching bag. So I put the gloves on, and I was punching straight for like 30 minutes. Just hitting the bag, just trying to tire myself out.
2 o'clock in the morning?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock in the
Yeah,
morning,
so
wow.
by the time I was like, I finally got tired, and I went to bed.
Wow. So you have a sensitivity to sugar?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, a lot of people do. A lot, or like once you start eating it, like you can't stop.
Yeah.
Some people are like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like that with licorice. I know if I buy licorice, I'm gonna eat the whole thing. Red licorice, I love it.
As long as it's not the black one. I can't stand that black one.
I don't love black, but I'll eat it. Yeah, I've like started to eat it. Yeah, but yeah. So.
And then I noticed like almonds. Like I'll go ahead and eat like a bunch of almonds, and then after a while, it's like, oh, I don't like it. I don't like the taste of it.
Yeah. Oh, the without the salt.
No, I get them raw.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And what's a handful of almonds? I mean, it's small. It can bloat you and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But I kind of feel like, you know, what to really eat, what can I snack on? These are things that
before your competition, so you were like, so when you said you were introverted, you didn't say introverted, but you said you were a hermit, all that stuff. Is that what you were eating, or was it just to protect your mindset for the competition?
It was like if I was eating almonds or things like that, it would be I would not be really eating the almonds because I kind of figured it's the fat that I need to cut out the fat.
Okay.
And so there was times where I needed to cut weight. So what I would do for like 3 weeks out, I would go ahead and do salads with protein, salads and protein all the time. So then when I get to the competition, that I can kind of at least maybe have something to eat. Like I would go onto a scale, I would go ahead and maybe take a boiled egg and water. And especially where I'm weighing in in the afternoon, because if it's not a morning competition, let's say I need to have something.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and I'll put branched chain amino acids in the water.
Okay.
So I at least I would saturate my muscles.
Yeah.
Then I would go ahead and take boiled eggs, and then I would go ahead and just get onto a scale and weigh it with me on there.
Wow.
And then I would go ahead and dump out water saying, okay, I'm right at that level. And then you're also nervous, but I didn't know how much sodium that are in the eggs. So I figured do that just because then I don't have that water bloatness that will get me over.
Yeah.
Because I went to a competition where I was in Buffalo, New York, and there was no scales in the hotel, and I needed to check where I was. So I ended up walked across the street to a Kmart, got a scale.
Wow.
Took it into the men's dressing room.
You put your food on?
And then I stripped down, weighed myself. I'm like, crap, I'm overweight. So then that's when I started my progressions. And then when I got to the point where I was about to go to the competition, I knew it was over. So I actually took a taxi to like an LA Fitness to go to the sauna. And it was a brand new LA Fitness, and they're like, we don't have a sauna here. I'm like, what? They said that there's a sauna here. So I said, oh, a sauna's over here. So I had to call up the taxi.
Oh my God.
And then they came back, picked me up, and took me across town to another place. And so then I went into the sauna, and so I put my stuff away, gave them my jacket because I didn't have a locker. I said, can you hold on to this big heavy jacket?
Yeah.
Then I got into the sauna, and it was kind of cool because I was talking to two former players that played for the Bills that were retired.
Nice.
Had good conversations in there. And then when I got out, they didn't have any towels. So I'm over here toweling myself out with paper towels.
Oh my gosh.
And then so when I got to the competition, barely made the weight.
Okay.
So, and it depletes you.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing, like, you know, with you guys, when there's a competition, that you guys are getting to a point where you want to get the water weight out because you want the muscles to pop and things like that.
Yeah.
Whereas us, as we want to make sure we have the water weight because then we're going to cramp up, and it's all about the strength, explosiveness.
Yeah,
And we
exactly.
don't want to be getting injured, and it's going to deplete our energy too, and our strength.
Yeah.
So you have to be smart on cutting weight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a fighter. There's a local fighter, and he's a pretty awesome fighter. I won't mention his name, but he invited us to do some yoga right before, and we were like, okay, we'll do. It was hot yoga. It was so hard. It was so hard. I was like, oh my gosh. I walked in like all in shape, and the yoga instructor just kind of looked at me, and I was like, so his thing was he would just like stop drinking all water, stop drinking everything, and then he would have sips of like diet like I think it was like diet Sprite or something like that, but he would just be so wiped out, his body, his muscles, everything, and then he would go weigh in, and then it was just like, but I'm like, there's a better way.
Yeah.
There's such a better way. There's a better way to do it. There's a healthy way to do it. I mean, there's a way to do it for you and for us.
Right. And then they have a 24-hour weigh-in. We don't. We weigh in within.
And then you do.
And then we have the 2-hour weigh-in, and then right in competition.
So you need to be weight. You need to be in weight, conditioned, ready to go at your weight.
Exactly. So it's not like you can weigh in the day before, so you can just go ahead and just not even eat and not even drink any water, and then you can go ahead and.
Well, he would do that for days.
Yeah.
For a couple days. That's what he would do. It was very unhealthy.
Yeah,
It's dangerous.
I know individuals that will go ahead and do extreme cutting of weight.
Yeah.
They'll do intermittent fasting for like 36 hours.
Yeah.
No food.
Yeah.
And they lost a lot of weight, but then I also look at it as it's gonna
bloat right back up.
You build yourself back up, and then also to get into the binge eating.
Yeah, it's a trigger in the brain. It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
So have you dealt with individuals like that they have these triggers with food?
Yeah, a lot of them. And you know what? I like helping people like that. You know, because first off, a lot of them feel like it's them. Like it's a character defect. You know, something's wrong with them. Why do I crave cake and you crave this? You know, because I don't crave sweets. I mean, the licorice is like the one thing. You know, and I don't have those certain cravings, but like if I had, well, I do have what my vice is alcohol. I don't drink alcohol. I'm alcohol free since March 3rd, 2013.
Well, congratulations.
So, thank you. Yeah. So like when people talk about like their cravings or those types of things, the feelings that come up, shame, guilt, resentment, they're living with all those things. And I bring it out in the light and I just say, hey, if we don't talk about it, then it's just going to circulate in your body, in your mind, you know, and all of us have something. So you got to get over it. It's like you're a demon, right?
Yep. So if you can go back to the younger version of yourself, like when you're in your 20s, and the stuff you do know now, what would you tell yourself?
I would tell myself that winning is very, very important because I'll never give that up. I mean, that's just, I really believe it. Why are you going to do it if you don't want to win? You got to want to win, but it's not the end all be all. And then I would implement have no attachment to the outcome, because that is the most freeing. It is so liberating when you live like that.
Right.
It is really liberating.
Okay, awesome. So how can people get a hold of you?
They can follow me on Instagram, the Women's Locker Room, or Heather Nikki Daniels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Thanks for interviewing me.
You're definitely welcome. You know, it's like, you know, the one thing I learned about this whole thing about interviewing people is I love to get in people's mindsets, find out how they're doing things, where they're going, and then, so that's another question I want to ask you. Where are you going?
Where am I going? You mean with my body, or with direction and everything?
With everything. It could be with your body, it could be with your business. Where are you going?
So right now, so what we were talking about the cravings, we're talking about the inner critics, limiting beliefs and stuff like that. So I'm really going into mental wellness, because your physical fitness without mental wellness is like, it's again, you're gonna have a Ferrari and not know how to drive it, or have a Ferrari and then wreck it, you know, and then end up with the sadness of it. And I think that I know that a lot of athletes will do whatever it takes, no matter what. We'll take our emotions and store them, you know, back in the cabinet until the competition's over, and then like all the emotions come out. With gut health and the microbiome, have you been hearing anything about the microbiome?
No.
No? Okay. Well, that's for another day. But that's really the area that I'm going into, is the gut-brain axis. Because the gut-brain axis, healing that, you know, the bacteria in your guts.
H. pylori and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about IBS and bloating and all the stuff that I used to think gut health meant, you know, you had like GI issues, like digestive issues and those types of things. I'm talking about your mental wellness.
Yeah,
like
some people were saying that the mental health is associated with what's going on with your stomach. Everything. I could, if you really, really want me to open up, we'll have to talk about that sometime. Because I've lived a lot of it, And I think a lot of people need to know. Like, it may not be your willpower. It may not be this. It may be that we need to get you, we need to get you healthy. And it could be also too where we're talking about before about the sensitivity to sugar.
Yes.
And it causing a person to be anxious.
Yes.
And then it also causes, like, certain types of foods can cause a person to get depressed.
Yes. So stop with the pre-workouts and the protein drinks and stuff like that, and heal your gut first. And then you feel good.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you're going with that now. What else are you doing that you would want to let everybody know?
Well, I mean, that's it. I have some retreats like in the works, but I don't have anything concrete.
Okay, that's what I wanted to get at.
Okay, the retreats. Yeah, I have some retreats coming up. All of next year is going to be retreats at the beach, Laguna Beach.
Okay.
So we're going to do like meditation. We're going to do education. We're going to do, it's like an experience, like a 3-day experience.
And do you work a lot with more women than men, or you do both?
Mostly women, but this is mostly for women.
Okay.
Yeah, this is definitely for women. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's been the conclusion of our podcast right here about the mindset. And I'd like to say thank you for listening, and you guys have a beautiful and blessed day. Peace. Love you guys.